Okay. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paramita also Tada Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Charananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Hoilas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shai Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Jagadada Swami Ki Jai, Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Srimati Lassi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namah Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya Bhutale. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Chinamani Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pajarani Nivishesha, Srinivadi Pashyata Deja Tarni, Om Gana Chagadandasha, Gananjana Shlakya Chakshura Miritam Yena Tasmai, Shri Guru Namaha. So maybe someone can close these drapes because it's backlight on when I'm broadcasting. So Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Chaitanya Bhagavata by Davandas Thakur, who is an incarnation of Srila Vyasadeva. So let us read from the Adi Kand chapter 1, text 110. And this is, of course, a summary of the Lord's pastimes. Oh, you have the book. Whose translation is that?
Bhumipada Das?
Bhumipata. I think this one. Is it the same as mine, or what?
Exactly the same word
Okay.
to word.
Okay, that's good. So, text 110. Adi Kande Parva Parigrahera Vijaya Sheshe Raja Panditera Kanya Parinaya. The Adikand describes the disappearance of Lakshmi Priya and the Lord's second marriage with the daughter of the Raj Pandit. And in the commentary it describes that the Lord's first wife was Lakshmi Priya Devi. The word Vijaya in this verse indicates that she gave up her body and returned to her own abode. The Lord then married Sri Vishnu Priya Devi, the daughter of Sanatan Mishra, who was the king's priest. Text 111. Adikande Vayodeha Manjakari Chala Prakashila Prema Bhakti Vikara Sakala. In the Adikand, the Lord displays ecstatic devotional sentiments on the pretense of an imbalance of bodily airs. So it says the Lord, in the commentary, the Lord exhibited various transformations of ecstatic love on the pretext of a gastric disorder. Gastric means the stomach, for those who don't know. So, text 112. Adikande sakala bhaktere shakti diya apane brahmanatmaha pandita. In the Adikanda, the Lord empowers the devotees and wanders about as a great scholar. So again, the commentary, during his life as a scholar, the Lord would enlighten his students while wandering about Navadvip. Text 113. Adikande divya paridana divya sukha anande vasena shachi deki chandra mukha. And the Adikanda mother Shachi floats in an ocean of happiness on seeing the moon-like face of the Lord, who dresses enchantingly and enjoys transcendental pleasure. And commentary again. The word divya paritana refers to exotic clothes. Divya sukha means unsurpassable transcendental bliss. The word chandra mukha means a bright, cool, shining face. That's the Chandra, of course, is the moon. Mukha is the face. So, text 114. Adikande gorangera digvijay jaya sheshe karilena tanra sarvabandha ksheha. In the Adikanda, the Lord Gauranga defeats the Digvijay scholar and ultimately delivers him from all bondage. And there's a story here. I'm going to skip over the commentary here, because later on we'll hear about this. So, text 115. Adikande sakala bhaktere mohadiha se kane bule prabhu savare bandiha. In the Adikanda, the Lord bewilders the devotees and lives among them as an ordinary person. So the commentary, we're going to skip over that because it's pretty much the same thing as the verse. Text 116. Adi kande gaya gela vishambara raya ishvara puri re kripa karila yutaya. In the Adi Kanda, Lord Vishwambar goes to Gaya and bestows mercy on Shri Ishwara Puri. So we'll skip over that. Of course, that's the taking of initiation by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation, he was acting just as a scholar who would harass the devotees. And once he took initiation, he showed us the importance of initiation and then manifested his activities as the greatest devotee of the Lord and as the Lord himself. Text 117. Adikande ache kata ananta vilasa kichu sheshe varni bena mahamuni vyasa. In the Adikanda, there are innumerable pastimes that will be described in the future by the great sage Vyasadeva. Text 118. Balya lilari kari yateka prakasha gayara avadiyati kandira vilasa. The Adikanda begins with the Lord's childhood pastimes and continues through his visit to Gaya. So, text 119. Majakande vidita koila gorak singha chinilena yatatsaba chalanera ringa. In the Majakanda, the lion, like Lord Gauranga, reveals himself so that the devotees who are like bees at his lotus feet are able to recognize him. Text 120. Majakande advaitadi shivasera gadhe vyatahela vasi vishnu kataro pare. In the Majakanda, the Supreme Lord reveals his identity at the houses of Srivas Pandit and Advaita Prabhu while sitting on Vishnu's altar. Text 121. Majakande Nichananda Sange Darashana Ekatani Dvibai Karila Kirtana. In the Majakanda, the Lord meets Nityananda Prabhu and the two brothers perform Sankirtana, Kirtana, together. So, I'm skipping over most of the commentaries because they're pretty much repetitive of what's happening in the verse, and with more evidence, of course. And so it would get too lengthy if we were to read all the commentaries right now. But when you go through the book yourself, it's good to read all the commentaries. Majakande Sadbhuja Tekila Nichananda, Majakande Advaita, Tekila Vishwaranga. In the Majakanda, Nityananda Prabhu sees the Lord's six-armed form, and Advaita Prabhu sees the Lord's universal form. Text 120, six-armed form, of course, is the Sadbhuja form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he also exhibited to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That's described in the Caitanya Charitamrita. All right, text 123. Nityananda Vyasa Puja Kahi Majakante Ye Prabore Nindakare Papishta Pashande. In the Majakanda, there's a description of the Vyasa Puja performed by Lord Nityananda, who was criticized by sinners and atheists. Text 124. Majakande Haladara Huila Gorachandra Haste Hala Mushala Dilila Nityananda. In the Majakanda, Lord Gaurachandra accepts the mood of Balaram, and Nityananda Prabhu gives him a plow and club. That's nice. 125. Majakande Dviyati Pataki Mochana Jagai Madai Nama Vikyata Bhuvana. In the Majakanda, there's a description of the deliverance of the two most sinful persons known throughout the world as Jagai and Madai. Text 126. Majakande Krishna Rama Chaitanya Nitai Shama Shukla Rupa Dekilena Shachi Oi. And the Majakanda, Mother Shachi sees Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda in their blackish and whitish forms as Krishna and Balaram. Text 127. Majakande Chaitanyera Mahaparakasha Satpar Prahadhiya Bhava Aishvarya Vilasa. In the Majakanda, the Lord displays his Mahaprakasha, his divine opulences, for 21 hours. Text 128. Sedina Amayaya Kahilena Kata Ye Seva Kera Janmahoela Yata Yata. And that day the Lord spontaneously revealed the past identities of his servants. In other words, who they were in Krishna Lila. 129. Majakande Nache Vaikuntera Narayana Nagare Nagare Koila Apanae Kirtana. In the Majakanda, Narayana, the Lord of Vaikuntha, dances and personally performs kirtan throughout the streets of Navadvip. 130. Majakande Kajira Mangila Ahankara Nija Shakti Prakashya Kirtana Apara. In the Majakanda, the Lord breaks the Kazi's pride while manifesting his potency in a tremendous kirtan. Because that's the non-violent protest that Lord Chaitanya launched because the Kazi had arranged for his men to break the mridanga drum. Anyway, I think everybody knows the story. How the Kazi had a dream of Lord Nrsingadev. Lord Nrsingadev sat on the Kazi's chest and ripped him and told him, if you harass my devotees again, then I'm going to kill you and all the Muslims. So, Bhakti Paila, Kaji Prabhu, Gorangera Vare, Swachande Kirtanakare, Nagare Nagare. By the benediction of Lord Gauranga, the Kazi attains devotional service. Thus all the devotees are allowed to freely perform kirtan in the streets of Navadvip. 132. Majakande Mahaprabhu Murahaya Nija Tattva Murarire Kahila Garajya. In the Majakanda, the Lord accepts the form of Baraha and discloses his identity to Murari Gupta. Very nice. Okay, 133. Majakande Murarira Skande Arohana Chaturbhujahana Koila Angane Brahmada. In the Majakanda, the Lord accepts a forearm form and rides on Murari's shoulders throughout his courtyard. Text 134. These are all coming attractions, of course. Majakande Shuklambara Tandula Bhojana Majakande Nana Chanda Hoila Narayana. In the Majakanda, the Lord eats Shuklambaras, brahmacharis, rice, and performs various pastimes as Narayana. Text 135. Majakande Rukminira Veshae Narayana Nachilena Stanapila Sarva Bhaktagana. In the Majakanda, Gora Narayan dances in the dress of Rukmini and breastfeeds all the devotees. Oh my God. Actually, it's described that they used to put on plays, and Haridas Thakur would be the announcer of the plays, and Lord Chaitanya would dress as Rukmini. And Haridas Thakur would also appear as Narada Muni sometimes. Anyway. No, actually, Srivas Thakur would appear as Narada Muni in the plays, and Haridas Thakur would be the announcer with a stick. Anyway, very interesting. Text 136. Majakande mukundera dandasanga doshe sheshe anugraha koila parama santoshe. In the Majakanda, the Lord punishes Mukunda for associating with Gyanis and later blesses him with great association. Because that's the story where Lord Chaitanya sort of rejected Mukunda, and when he was asked, when can Mukunda associate with you again, he said, many thousands of lifetimes. And then Mukunda got very happy because he was patient, and then Lord Chaitanya let him back in. But the point is, we don't associate with people who are averse to devotional service. Text 137. Majakande Mahaprabhura Nishaya Kirtana Vatsareka Navadvipe Koila Anukshana. In the Majakanda, there are descriptions of the all-night kirtans that the Lord performs for 1 year in Navadvip. Text 138. Majakande Nichananda Dvaita Koptukwa Yagna Jane Buje. Yes, Buje Yena Kalaha Sarupa. In the Majakanda, Nityananda and Advaita exchange jokes which ignorant people consider as quarreling. So in the Caitanya Charitamrita, there's this whole interesting story of how Lord Nityananda was accompanying Caitanya Mahaprabhu right after he took sannyas, and Lord Nityananda tricked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into thinking that the Ganges was actually the Yamuna. And Lord Chaitanya jumped into the Ganges thinking it was the Yamuna, and then he saw Advaitacharya in the opposite bank because that was Shantipur, and he said, how have you come to Vrindavan? And then Advaitacharya hosted him at his house and fed him a lot of prasadam. And Lord Nityananda said, I was hoping to break my fast today, but this is not even a morsel. And Advaitacharya said, just be quiet and eat what you got. And then Lord Nityananda just basically threw the rice on the floor. Some of it hit Advaitacharya, and he started dancing. He says, now I've been sort of contaminated by this avaduta. Interesting story. That's in the Caitanya Bhagavata. So, text 139. So, Majakande Jana Nira Lakshe Bhagavan Vaishnava Parada Karaila Savadhan. In the Majakanda, the Lord warns everyone about offending Vaishnavas, using his mother as an example. So that the story is, the whole story is not told in the commentary, but what the story is that Lord Chaitanya was giving love of God to everybody, and then his mother was there, and everyone was saying, well, what about Mother Shachi? And Lord Chaitanya said, no, she can't get love of God. She has offended Advaitacharya. And the way that she offended Advaitacharya is that she called him duplicitous. Because what happened is when her son, Visvarup, the first son, took sannyas, then she blamed Advaitacharya for his association, and she said he is not Advaita, he is Dvaita. He is two-faced. Duplicitous means you say one thing to one person, another. The politician. He's a politician, in other words. That's what duplicitous means. And therefore, she didn't get love of God, and then she actually ran up and touched Advaitacharya's feet, and he touched her feet, and then Lord Chaitanya gave her love of God. Because everyone was shocked that the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not going to get love of God. And he was showing how important it is to not commit offenses. So text 140. Majakande Sakala Vaishnava Jane Jane Sabivara Pailina Kariya Stavane. In the Majakanda, all the Vaishnavas receive benedictions after offering prayers. Text 141. Majakande Prasada Paila Harirasa Shridarera Jalapana Karunya Vilasa. In the Majakanda, Haridas Thakur receives the Lord's mercy, and the Lord mercifully drinks Sridhar's water. Now, Sridhar was the poor man who was selling banana leaves and everything. And Lord Chaitanya drank water from his iron pot that he kept outside, with holes, actually. Majakande Sakala Vaishnava Kari Sange Pratijina Janavite Jalakeli Range. In the Majakanda, the Lord daily sports in the waters of the Ganges with the devotees. 143. Majakande Gaurachandra Nityananda Sange Advaitere Grihe Gyachila Kona Range. In the Majakanda, Lord Gaurachandra and Nityananda Prabhu go on a mission to Advaita Prabhu's house. And that mission was actually to chastise. I wonder if it's older. Yeah, that's the next verse. Majakande Advaitere Karibahu Danda Sheshe Anugraha Koila Parama Prachanda. In the Majakanda, the Lord punishes Advaita Prabhu and then bestows great mercy on him. And in the commentary it says, by seeing the behavior of Advaita Prabhu, many people fall into the trap of considering him a Mayavadi. In order to check this, the Lord physically punished Advaita, and then later the Lord bestowed mercy on him to glorify his devotees. So just to unpack that a little bit. Advaita Prabhu was teaching this thing called the Yoga Vashishta, which is like a Mayavadi text. And he was doing this in order to have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastise him. Because Advaita Prabhu was very, very upset that Lord Chaitanya was offering him obeisances as an elderly Vaishnava. So he came up with this whole plan, and then Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda basically swam all the way to Shantipur after getting upset by taking prasadam or whatever it was in the house of a Shakta. And this Shakta also offered Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liquor. He said to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after the meal, "Do you want some happiness?" And Lord Chaitanya didn't know happiness. What does it mean? And Lord Nityananda, being more worldly than Lord Chaitanya, said that means liquor. And then Lord Chaitanya got so upset he jumped into the Ganges and swam up to Shantipur. So anyway, so when Lord Chaitanya got to Shantipur, the first thing he did is he started beating up Advaita Acharya. And Sita, who was the wife of Advaita Acharya, she got so upset, she said, "You're going to kill the old man." And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I don't care, preaching nonsense." Then Advaita Acharya started dancing in ecstasy because his desires had been fulfilled. So that's the story. It's in the Caitanya Charitamrita too. Very wonderful story. 145. Majakande Chaitanya Nitai Krishna Ratna Atama Rama Janila Murari Gupta Mahabhagyavan. The most fortunate Murari Gupta certainly knew that Nitai and Gora were Ram and Krishna. 146. Majakande Dvi Prabhu Chaitanya Nitai Nachilena Shivasa Angane Ekatani. In the Majakanda, the two lords, Chaitanya and Nityananda, danced together in the house of Srivas Thakur. 147. Majakande Shivasera Amritya Putra Mukhe Jiva Tattva Kahaya Gu Chaila Duke. The Lord helped the relatives of Shivas mitigate their distress of separation by inducing Srivas' dead son to describe the living entity's transmigration from one body to another. Text 148. Chaitanya Ranugrahe Srivasa Pandita Pasarila Putra Shoke Jagate Vidita. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Srivas Thakur gave up lamentation over his son's death. This incident became known to all. So, actually, the more of the story is that Srivas Thakur's son died during the middle of Kirtan. Srivas Thakur noticed that his wife was crying, and he said, "What are you crying about?" And she said, "Your son died." And he said, "Chuparo." If you disturb the kirtan of Chaitanya and Nitai, I'm going to give you something really to cry about. Heavy. He was heavy. Actually, he was a very heavy personality. And so she said, "Stop your crying." So the poor lady had to, that's so hard for ladies. Try that sometime, you men. Tell the lady who's crying to stop crying. It doesn't work. They cry more. Isn't it? I want you to stop crying now. Shut your eyes and stop in your mouth and stop crying. Doesn't work. So anyway, but she was more obedient. And she stopped her crying. And then after the kirtan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Something happened during the kirtan." And Srivas Thakur said, "It was nothing, my lord. It's just someone passed away." And Lord Chaitanya said, "What? Why didn't you stop the kirtan?" And then Srivas Thakur said, "I didn't want to stop your ecstasy." And "Where's the boy?" Lord Chaitanya said. He went into the room and he put his hand on the boy's chest and he said, "Why did you leave Srivas Thakur?" And the boy started to preach philosophy. Like so many fathers I've had, and now I've died during the kirtan, go back to Godhead. So basically, let me go back to Godhead. So that's what he was saying. You know, an interesting story. So, next text, a few more texts. 149, Majakande, Kangaya, Padila Dukapaya, Nichananda Hridasa, Anila Tulia. In the Majakanda, the Lord in distress jumped into the Ganges, and Nityananda and Haridas pulled him out. 150. Majakande Chitanyera Avashesha Patra Brahmara Duklaba Durlava Narayani Poila Matra. In the Majakanda, Narayani received Lord Chaitanya's remnants, which are rarely attained even by Lord Brahma. So it's actually described that Vrindavan Thakur is the son of Narayani. And so he's talking about his mother right now. And actually, when she received the remnants, she started rolling on the ground in ecstasy. It's not described actually who the father of Vrindavan Das Thakur was. And Narayani was actually living, some of the biographers say that she was living in Srivas Thakur's house after her father passed away or something like that. And other biographers say that she was living in Vasudev Dutt's house anyway. and it's described by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the son of Nisarayani Devi Vrindavan Thakur, is the author of this book. Text 151. Whoops. Majakande Sara Jiva Udara Karune Sanyasa Kadite Prabhu Karila Gamane. In the Majakanda, the Lord leaves home and accepts sannyas in order to deliver the living entities. So we'll stop here for today. So any questions or comments? Questions, comments? No? Yes.
Sachi Mata, because she was the mother of Lord Chaitanya, so she had natural love for Lord Chaitanya. So
Yeah.
isn't that love of Godhead in a way?
Yes. No, I mean that's parental rus,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's all your rus. I mean, that's natural love of Godhead. If you have parental love for the Lord, or if you have conjugal love, or if you have a servitude love, or if you're a friend of the Lord, Sakyarus.
So why is it mentioned that she didn't get love of Godhead because of the...
It was a pastime.
Okay.
She actually had love of Godhead, but Lord Chaitanya was just showing us and demonstrating that without stopping offenses to Vaishnavas, one will never get love of Godhead. But obviously, she's expansion of Yashodamai. She is Yashodamai, basically. So, you can't say that Yashodamai didn't get love of God. But it was a pastime to illustrate a philosophical, practical point. Okay, what other questions?
So on that context, Gurudev, in today's time we have seen few devotees, they carry Laddu Gopal with them. And
Yeah.
they treat him as their child. And wherever they go, they carry,
Yeah.
even if they go down to the prasadam, to take prasadam, he is there with him.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how to understand that. I mean, we do
That's
not
more or less
often-
pushti marg. It's not really. I mean, so it's fine. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I think it's a wonderful thing, but it's generally what's done in pushti marg rather than the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, but it's okay. So your question is it devotional service to do that? Yeah, why not? I mean, they're thinking of Krishna. It helps you think of Krishna, isn't it? No, they may be just projecting their own consciousness because maybe they didn't have a child. or maybe their child grew up. So it may be, but it's all right. They're dovetailing there.
Okay.
If you have to have a son, better have Krishna as your son rather than some rascal kid. Right? And if the girls have to have a husband, then it's much better they have Krishna as their husband than some hairy old guy, Isn't it, Prabhupada sometimes encouraged, he said that the girls should actually, sometimes if they didn't want to get married, they should consider Krishna their husband. And then the girls should dress up like gopis for the pleasure of the deities. Prabhupada encouraged that. And sometimes Prabhupada would address, when he was writing a letter to the temple president, he would say, "How are the gopis doing?" In reference to the girls and the brahmacharinis in the temple. So, I understand the mood, or at least the impetus, may not be completely pure, but it can become purified. So in any sense, they're thinking of Krishna. Just like I carry around Giriraj, and I think I don't have any friends in this world. So he's my friend. So. What? Yeah. Otherwise, I'm thinking, nobody loves me. The disciples are all chumjaws. Isn't it so? No, I'm just joking. That's not why I carry on Giriraj. But it's sort of dovetailing one's emotions, and it's purifying, although the impetus may not be exactly pure. You understand? Maybe someone may be taking care of the deities to make up for a lack in their own emotional lives in this world. But it's all right. It's all right. We're all dovetailing in the beginning anyway. We like to eat, so we're eating prasadam.
Yeah.
And Krishna becomes the person at the checkout counter at the supermarket. We cook what we want at home. So that's the difference between the deity worship and the temple. In the temple, we cook what Krishna wants. At home, we cook what we want, and Krishna has to okay it.
And live with it.
And live with it, In the temple, we cook what Krishna wants, and we have to eat it. So it's, the opposite.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? So that's why the temple worship, one reason why the temple worship is actually on a higher level than our home worship.
Yeah.
Like when I worship Giriraj, I just offer whatever bhoga that I'm going to eat. If he doesn't like sauerkraut, it's too bad. Because that's what he's going to get. Isn't it? If you don't like sauerkraut, go to the temple. But they don't offer sauerkraut in the temple, I don't think. It's part of the date.
I think it's only you that eating over here. I don't think so other devotees are eating. No one eats
I
it.
had first time Kadin.
No one eats sauerkraut?
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure. Apart from, I don't think
It's
so.
a new word for most of us.
Only, maybe a few, but you're the only one I would say.
No, my deities also eat sauerkraut.
Yeah,
So it must be all right.
I eat sauerkraut.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, it's healthy for you.
Yeah, it is very healthy.
So probiotic.
Yeah, it's probiotics. It's actually very good for you. It's actually very good. It helps with your digestive system. It keeps you in good health.
Guru Maharaj,
That's
when you're traveling, what do we do with the deities? Do we leave it to somebody else?
No, they come with me.
No,
What do you do with the deities?
Yeah, what do we do
You can have a picture of the deities and worship
wherever
the
we
picture.
go?
Yeah, if they're too big. I mean, obviously, sometimes the deities are too big.
So is it necessary to leave them at somebody else's house?
Not just needful.
Okay.
Home standard is a little bit different.
Hmm.
One has to be practical with the deities at home. So that's someone's that's a household standard. I mean, my standard is the deities eat, or I don't eat. Shilas,
Yeah.
but they're shilas, they're easy to carry around. That's why the brahmanas would always have shilas, because they couldn't practically carry deities around. So, yes, my deities eat mushrooms too.
So that's another question.
They're
Can
very
we
li-
offer mushrooms too?
In the temple, no.
Why no?
It's an interesting question. At home, yeah.
Oh, you can at home.
Oh, yeah, at home, yeah. But in the temple, because there's a certain standard established. There's nothing wrong with them. Actually, Lord Caitanya ate mushrooms when he was going through the Jarakhanda forest. You can read that in the Caitanya Charitamrita. And they're healthy. Some of them are very healthy. Some of them increase your brain power. Some of them give you strength. There's all sorts of, like, thousands of different types of mushrooms.
Yeah.
But don't take
Some are poisonous.
the type that makes you see things.
Yeah.
The psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Don't go around just picking any old mushroom, because there's poisonous mushrooms, there's dangerous mushrooms. So, there's actually one that the sages would take in India. It's called a reishi mushroom. It's named after Rishi. The Rishis would take this mushroom. And it would increase their confirmation. And actually would increase their brain power. It's called the reishi mushroom. Anyone's heard about that before? No. You've heard about reishi?
Yeah.
That's one of the famous mushrooms. Anyway, there's different types of mushrooms.
Yeah, there's so many.
So many. So, anyways, I take it for health. Usually what I eat is actually for health, rather than, you develop a taste for it after a while. One looks at my diet and they think, oh, how can I eat like that? But it's interesting. You can develop a taste and it tastes delicious. You just have to, the mind is what determines what someone tastes like to us. Something tastes like to us. Isn't it?
Shiitake mushroom is for humans every day.
Yeah, shiitake. Yeah, shiitake.
Shiitake is very healthy.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about mushrooms and plants. So, it's interesting. The mind is structured in such a way that you can develop a taste for almost anything. And so, my thought is we should develop a taste for those things that are healthy for us.
Yeah.
When you first change your diet from sweets and fried foods, maybe a struggle for the first few weeks. But after a while, the mind is flexible. Then you'll start to like it. Like my previous diet was completely different than it is now. There was paneer and all sorts of stuff. And then I just changed, and I have no more desire for paneer or any of that stuff. It's just like, whatever, I'd rather be healthy. If you think about the alternative of being at the doctor and having open heart surgery, I think it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Yeah.
During chanting, when the mind is diverted, so in that case, if we concentrate the mind on the text of the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, is it okay to do so? Or
Well, if it helps you bring the mind back to
Yeah.
think about, to concentrate.
then I can see the slokas are very clearly understood, and we can
Well, you
memorize them.
use it to bring the mind back, but then after that, you should be hearing the holy name,
Yes.
not the shloka so much. You can use your remembrance of the shloka to pull the mind back, but ultimately you have to hear the holy name, the sound vibration of the holy name.
I'm not pronouncing, but I'm just remembering the slokas. But the
Well, when
Harinam is
if you're remembering the shlokas, you're pronouncing subtly. If I think, Sarvadharma Purusham, I'm beginning with that right now. I'm not hearing anything else. So, there's a subtle sound vibration. which is your thought process. So, yeah, I mean, I would say use your remembrance to bring the mind back, but then hear the holy name. With emotion, the main point I've been making the last few days, if there's some bhav, then you can hear the holy name. But if you're trying to hear it, just by trying to hear it, it doesn't work. There has to be some bhav, emotion. You have to connect your heart to it somehow or other. Otherwise, it's just like, I'm supposed to hear Hare Krishna, Krishna. Then, it's very, very difficult. But the question is, again, or the point is, again, why do I want to hear? What do I get out of it? Or as they say, with him. With him?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Yeah.
Sankalpa.
Yeah, what's in it for me? Do it with him. What's in it for me? Sankalpa. That's a fancy way of saying Sankalpa. Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Regarding Mosur dal,
Yes.
so is it okay to take or no?
Generally, it's considered like too heavy and too whatever, just lower modes.
No.
I mean, if you need it for your health, or something like that, it's not really something. It's not like taking onions and garlic or eat fish or eggs or anything like that. I mean, during the 4th month of Chaturmasya, you're not supposed to take urad dal either, because urad dal is considered non-vegetarian. Did you know that?
No.
So same Mosur dal is.
Prabhupada mentions that.
They say Mosur, same Mosur dal is the non-vegetarian.
Yeah,
That's what this
yeah,
protein is there.
a lot of protein.
Too high protein.
Too high protein, but still, urd is super high protein. So normally we do take it. You make all sorts of things out of urd dal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but not on the 4th month of Chaturmasya. That's the prohibited in the 4th month. Because Prabhupada said it's generally considered non-veg. But, it's all right. You have urd dal kachoris, all sorts of things out of urd dal. They're pretty delicious. Dosha, urd dal doshas. So, as far as Masur dal, whatever. If someone wants to take it, Mung is actually very nice. Mung is actually the healthiest dal.
Especially sprouted, even sprouted.
Yeah. Okay, I think everybody's hungry.
Enough of the
Subject is
bhav.
deviated now.
We're talking about food. I think it's,
Guru Maharaj,
yes.
in case a devotee gets sick and needs blood transfusion.
Put them to sleep.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just joking. So what? Yeah.
And then whatever blood they have in the blood bank, can we use that one or we need special, right?
I think it's all right, if they actually need blood. But the best thing is you find some devotee with this,
Devotees, yeah.
with the
But
same
what if
blood type.
there's nobody aware, like the same blood group or
Okay.
something like that.
Who has A plus? Okay.
Like, oh,
If I need blood, I go to you.
How positive, can every
Yeah, that's
right?
O positive
Universal.
can give to everybody. Or if you really need plasma, just go to a coconut. That's what they did during the war.
Yeah.
They actually took the coconut water and used that as plasma since they didn't have any blood.
But I don't think they'll do it these days.
You get a transfusion from a coconut. Yeah, but it's interesting. They say that the coconut water has the same general consistency as plasma, and then they use that for that purpose. So anyway, yeah, a devotee can have. I mean, it's emergency. You're in the hospital. You're bleeding to death, and you say, "Find out a devotee with A plus."
Time is ticking.
And you'll die in the meantime.
So you can have it.
Yeah, because when someone gives blood, they want to test it now too. It's not like instantaneous,
Takes time.
It takes time. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You got to do the needful.
We needed a bit of clarification.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm A+, the best.
My Prabhu is O negative. So he's
No, most of the
Oh.
devotees are my enemy because we don't take
O negative.
so
That
much
can be everyone.
good that
So don't take blood from them then. Don't ask me for blood.